Habari Gani, Mainduga Nadada. This is your brother, your elder, General Abu Amin Ra, also known as John D. Brinson. My brothers and sisters, I want to implore you to please, if it's at all possible, secure and read a copy of this book I wrote 20 years ago, entitled Reparations and God's Judgment by John D. Brinson. Now, my brothers and sisters, my targeted audience was the black Christians, those who sympathize with Christianity, those who understand what Christianity is, and those embedded in spiritualism. My brothers and sisters, I wrote this book about 20 years ago, and it is still as relevant today as it was the day it first came from the printer's press. My brothers and sisters, I guarantee you this. If you read this book, understand it in its entirety, you will never say reparations are not owed to us again, because you will begin to understand that in order to say us, you must include the spiritual realm, the realm where our ancestors exist. Brothers and sisters, you hear some of us say, I didn't work for anybody. I was never a slave. Maybe my great-great-grandmother or great-great-grandfather may have been slaves, but I've never been a slave. And consequently, America doesn't owe us anything. It doesn't owe me anything. Give me the opportunity to work, go to school, lift myself up, and allow me to go to church every Sunday, unimpeded, worshiping the God I want to worship. Well, brothers and sisters, let me let you know why I wrote this book. I had a concept for this book when I was a student at San Francisco Theological Graduate School, located in San Anselmo, California, one of the best, if not the best, of Christian seminaries in the United States of America. I had to prove myself that I was worthy to such instructors as Robert Coote, Ann Wire, and a host of other doctors who had either finished Princeton, Harvard, and received their glories from those institutions. And by the way, we were of the same ilk and organization as Harvard, Cornell, Princeton. These were all sister seminaries, so they interchanged professors. But anyway, I was inspired then to write this book. But I knew that most of our people were Christians. I sympathized with the Christians, or at least knew something about Christianity, so I used the Christian platform to prove to those of you who are doubters of America, or in reparations to black people for enslaving them for centuries, taking their labor, hanging them, interbreeding with them, hanging them from trees by the thousands, then forcing them to build this country up of not only their sweat and strength, but also of their minds, because they provided this country with many useful inventions. Now, they were totally ripped off by the white man, brought to this country, brought to another people's country, and reduced to chattel slaves. And then as they decimated the owners of this land, who were here when they got here, then they began a program of producing slaves on slave farms, slave production farms, where they were up to around 10 cabins, one-room cabins, and a young, strong black woman assigned to each cabin. And would have those male slaves, especially the Mandingos, to drop their seeds on these women and make them pregnant so that they would have a genetically stronger slave in the years ahead. They did all of this. So they owe our ancestors reparations. I prove it using the Christian faith, the Christian Bible. Back up everything I say. Prove it to you. So my Christian brothers and sisters, I say to you, you owe it to yourself to get you a copy of Reparations and God's Judgment. God's judgment is on America. America must atone for what they did to our ancestors. They must ask for their forgiveness through us, because we are their representatives now. They owe our ancestors trillions of dollars, according to today's market. So if you read this book and you come away believing they don't owe us anything, either you've sold your soul to the devil, or you are a damn unthinking fool, an imbecile, an ignoramus. They don't owe it to us directly, but they owe it to us, our ancestors. And according to world law, the law of inheritance, whatever the ancestors accumulate, of course, the white man, the master, accumulated all of our ancestors' labor and work and gains. But anyway, it's passed on down through their descendants, and we are their descendants, and we demand justice for them. And we will not rest until we get justice for them. That's why they owe reparations. Not to us, but to our ancestors. And we are the inheritors of our ancestors' accumulations. Get a copy of this book now and read it. I guarantee you, you'll never say they do not owe reparations again. Peace. Hotep to you, man. Duga. Na. Dada.